Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. Sorry, my hair went rogue. My hair went rogue. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. Oh, like I said, production crew party of one. So, anyway, here we are, and I don't know. There we go. I'm like, what is happening this morning? I could have sworn I was ready for this show. Anyway, yeah, let's get going. Today we have task paralysis. Now, you're probably wondering what that is. Task paralysis is basically procrastination in a prettier word. But anyways, I don't know if this was me or someone else that put this, but I put a star next to. Oh, I see. I put a star next to the things that I considered not ordinary advice. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, I get it now. So sorry. Anyways, yeah, so, oh, sorry, I heard vibrating stuff. I thought it was my phone. All right. First and foremost, I apologize. I'm a little off this morning. I had the gnarliest headache last night, and I've got like this headache hangover. So, and headache hangovers are very real for me. I don't know if it's the right word for it, but when I have a gnarly like sinus migraine or headache or whatever, the next day is always a little, I almost didn't come on today, but I did. Tomorrow we're going to do the affirmators, but you know, because I need to find new things to talk about. So yeah, if I'm a little all over the place, that is why. So anyways, again, here we are, task paralysis. Good morning, Muddy. Well, there is no number. Okay, so bullet point number 1. Acknowledge your negative emotions. Acknowledge your negative emotions. So, yeah, let's just go through this and then we'll talk about it. The next one, rewrite your to-do list with only the most important things and the little things to do on a different list. Set a timer for 10 or 15 minutes and do as much as you can in that time. Don't wait until you have more time or it feels right. Starting is half the battle. Yeah, it is. Push aside perfectionism. Tell yourself tell yourself you can fine-tune little details after you've completed the basic work. The next one, start small with the part of the task that feels the most doable. The next one, take a big deep breath when you start to feel overwhelmed. Have someone sit near you to help you feel more anchored and not at all like you're on your own. Work in a different place for the novelty of it. Move your body a little bit to help your body out of the freeze state. Do something to increase your dopamine, like listen to a song or eat something before. And the last one, think of ways to add a reward and accountability to your task. That one is a bit of that one's a catch-22. So that's obviously the last one, so we'll get back to that. So anyways, acknowledge your negative emotions. So when we talk about task paralysis, a lot of times our negative emotions can hold us back. And think about it this way, right? Maybe you get into work and you see your inbox is just filled with crap, right? Like poof, it went from this big to this big over the weekend somehow. Get rid of your negative emotions, all right? First of all, this is your job, but it might seem a little overwhelming, right? Because you're like, yeah, I'm going to come in, it's going to be a great Monday, and then all of a sudden your inbox looks like a skyscraper. So, you know, or just in general, in anything, right? I mean, maybe you're retired, or maybe you're home, or maybe, you know, you're just kind of maybe working from home and you think, yeah, today's going to be a great day. And maybe you start doom scrolling, you know, so don't do that either. But we have to acknowledge our negative emotions. We have to acknowledge why we feel the way we feel. And when we do that, we're able to move through them. Okay, you don't want to move around it, because moving around it just means that it's going to jump right ahead of you again, and you're going to have to move around it again. But when we move through it, we are confronting this negative emotion and we're saying, look, you know what? Is this really necessary? Do I really need to do this right now? You know, and you're sitting here and you're giving yourself the opportunity to basically hurdle this emotion. So when we acknowledge our negative emotions, we are actually doing ourselves a favor as opposed to just ignoring it and pushing it aside. Because I guarantee you from past experience, when you push those negative emotions back down, they are going to find a way back up. And it is not going to be, it is definitely not going to be from the original trigger. It's going to be something completely random and different. And you're going to think, whoa, what's happening? Why am I acting like this? And then you're going to have guilt. It's going to be a whole ugly cycle. So instead of moving around it, move through it. All right. So rewrite your to-do list with only the most important things. Add the little things to a different list. You can, yeah, if you want to put the little things on a sticky note, you know, just put it at the bottom or put it, you know, put it next to you or something. I got to stop tapping my desk because sorry, I do not know what is happening here. Stop. All right. There we go. Nope. This is gonna be one of those days. My phone is acting like I feel right now with this headache hangover. So anyways, anyways, yeah, so gosh. All right, rewrite your to-do list with only the most important things and the little things to do. Oh, and the little things to do on a different list. Yeah, so say you had things you needed to do. Okay, we're just going to go back to this original example of walking in and finding that skyscraper on your desk. So maybe you thought, okay, well, I'm going to do this, and this today. They're not overly important, but they're part of your job, but there's no time frame on them. Just say, you know what? Okay, this is what I was going to do this morning, but I'm going to tackle this first so I get it out of my way. So, you know, because for me, whenever I had a pile on my desk, it really kind of ramped up my anxiety and gave me a little bit of overwhelm. And so, you know, and that's not fun, right? You don't want to deal with that. So, I would just try to prioritize the files on my desk and then just kind of put them over here. And then as I finished, I would put them back in my inbox to know that it was time for it to go. So, so it was more of a kind of like a in reverse type of inbox thing, and then I would do whatever I needed to do after, you know. So, and fortunately for me, for the most part, about 90% of the time, the people around me were very understanding, saying, oh yeah, no worries, you know, whenever you have a chance. And I don't mean that when they did need something right away, it wasn't important, because it usually is, right? Because they were all pretty good at doing their own thing. So the next thing, set a timer for 10 or 15 minutes and do as much as you can in that time. Again, so this can apply to anything. It doesn't have to be work. Okay, but I'm just using this example because I would say that the majority of people who get overwhelmed while trying to do a task are probably doing that. But it could also be chores, right? Maybe you're like, oh my God, these chores. And just take one little place at a time. You know, just try to clear out one little place at a time. And that way, you know, break it down into different zones, all right, if it's chores. That way you have the opportunity to give yourself that time and do as much as you can in 10 or 15 minutes. If you're sitting at your desk working on that pile, see how far you got in 10 or 15 minutes. If you only got through one file, don't worry about it. Or if you only got through one task on your desk, don't worry about it. It's okay. This is not a test. This is just to show you, hey, look, 10 or 15 minutes passed by and you're still surviving. All right, you're still alive. The skyscraper of work did not fall on you. The skyscraper of chores did not fall on you. Okay, it means that, hey, look, you got this much done, and that's good. Now, that may not work for everybody. So if setting yourself a timer for 10 or 15 minutes overwhelms you, just use it for exercise. Okay, just use the timer for exercise if it overwhelms you with other things. So don't wait until you have more time or it feels right. Starting is half the battle. This is for people who have hobbies or projects or things they want to work on around the house, or, you know, maybe the vacation you want to take, or maybe the outing you want to go to, or maybe the place you want to go to. I can't tell you how many times I thought, well, when I have more time, I'm going to go to this place. And then I never got to enjoy it because it closed. You know, it wasn't as exciting to other people as it was to me. And it's kind of like, oh, well, that sucks. So then you miss out. So, you know, don't wait until you have more time where it feels right. Starting is half the battle. And that goes for me too. I mean, I love to write. And starting is half the battle. And once you get started and you stop worrying about what you think other people are going to think, let it go. Just let it go. Because that is not going to help us. All right. That is not going to help you in your path. The whole point of the Aloha perspective, which again, aloha also means love, right? Is to look at things through love. It's to look at things and do things with love and through love. To do it with aloha and through aloha, whether that's your work, your chores, your hobbies, your tasks that you have to do, or maybe a project that you want to start. When you fill yourself with that aloha, you fill yourself with that mana spirit, remember that spiritual power, and you remind yourself of your strength, then you can do pretty much anything. But we do have to shut the outside voices out. Okay, because sometimes there's always going to be that nagging thought that is no, because, what if, no, right? They're like little Muppet hands. No, even the Muppets would tell you to do it, okay? So anyways, here it is, right here. Push aside perfectionism. Tell yourself you can fine-tune little details after you've completed the basic work. If you're a writer like I am, that is one of my biggest problems. So I have kind of come up with a solution. Since Lola, my other hard drive, my other external hard drive, has decided to keep the majority of my stories hostage, I've decided to rewrite little, what I call treatments of every story, and then I'll go back and then fill in the holes, right? I'll just rewrite the story from this little tiny story that I've written. And I've found that it's actually working for me, that I'm actually moving through this. And it's probably a longer process than necessary, but it's how I used to write when I was younger. I used to go into a notebook and then I would transfer it to a computer, when laptops finally existed and everyone could actually have one. So, but these are things that work for me. What works for you? When we remove perfectionism and when we remove all these little, again, these voices in our head that says, no, you start hearing the other voices going, yes, that's right. That's it. Just do, they're not coming from here. They're coming from here saying yes. Your heart is saying yes to you. And your heart is telling your brain, hey, you know what? Give them a break. All right. They're trying to do something that they absolutely love. So give them a break. Perfectionism is one of the hardest things to let go of, but is absolutely necessary to let go of when we're trying to do a task, whether it's at work, whether it's your chores, whether it's something around the house, a hobby, or something that you're passionate about. Because your heart is going to tell you, go for it. Your brain is going to tell you, what if everyone hates it? Don't worry if everybody hates it, because you know what? There's going to be those 2 people out there that absolutely love it. One of the reasons I still do this show is because from time to time, I will hear from other people that aren't my regulars. And like yesterday, I heard from somebody that I didn't even know watched my show. And they're all, I don't know why you're not popping in my feed anymore, but I got to find you because you're so inspiring to me. And they hugged me like 3 times. Okay. And I mean, I love this person anyways, but it was just like, I had no idea that you watched this show, and they're like extended family. I think I met her through my mom because my mom knew her mom, the whole big thing. But, it's just when you hear the feedback and you realize that, it's working for someone else, you stop. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. That just distracted me. A hummingbird flew up to my window and just looked at me. That's a sign. That's probably my mother. That's got to be a sign. That's somebody. That is somebody saying, hey, yeah, you know what? You hit the nail on the head, kid. But yeah, that's wild. That's never happened. Usually when I see the hummingbirds are out in the trees, which are about a good 10 feet and probably a good 20 feet away from me. But this one literally was about 2 feet from me at my window. I feel so blessed right now. Anyways, so yeah, push aside perfectionism. All right. And again, like I said, you're probably like, yeah, you don't know. No, trust me. I know what perfectionism is like. I have spent the majority of my life trying so hard to be perfect for everybody instead of being just right for myself. That was really good. I got to write that down. All right. Yeah, you know how this show goes, guys. When it's good, you got to write it down. I have spent, we'll just say I have spent so much of my life trying to be perfect for everyone instead of just right for myself. Sometimes the things that fly out of my mouth just astound me. And I'm pretty sure they're not my thoughts, but you never know, right? So anyways, yeah, you can always fine tune the details later. So remove perfectionism, all right? Trust me, it is only going to drive you nuts, cause you more stress, and cause you a lot more anxiety than absolutely necessary. And again, I speak from experience on that one. Start small with the part of the task that feels the most doable, okay? So if you have things that you want to clear out around you, start with the smaller things, just say, hey, you know what, there's a recycle bin outside, I'm going to throw all this stuff in here and then throw it out, okay? Or, my pens are everywhere, I'm going to buy a little pen container and I'm going to put it all in there. Just things like that, things that simple, literally that simple. If you have to, start with the smaller things first. Now, if you're the kind of person that says, you know what, this is going to be a very difficult task, then start with the harder things first. If you absolutely have the capacity to do that, start with the harder things first. And then when you have the little things left, you're like, whoa, okay. I'm going to give you a tiny, tiny example, which is actually a huge example that happened over the course of 4 years. When I started high school, my mother made me take all of my hard classes. And for the first 2.5 years, I was just like, lady, you're insane. Okay. I hate this. I blah, blah, blah. I don't like it. It's so hard. I barely made it through 10th grade with some of my classes because I had chemistry and geometry. And I had those two for finals days and midterms on the same day. And the first midterms I had with both of those, I came home and I just cried for about an hour because it was just so overwhelming. And I was so not good at it. I mean, I love science, but I'm not good at chemistry. I think, you know what? I might have been better. I don't know. But there was just a lot happening in my head that year. But that was a big year. We'll talk about that another day because we're talking about this. But by the time I hit the middle of my junior year through my senior year, I was coasting. I was coasting like a car with no engine going down the hill. And I was just like, wow. And I actually had to admit to my mother, you were right. And I did it because I did not do it the right way in high school. So for basically 2 years, I just struggled and struggled and struggled. But the last 2 years, or the last year and a half of high school, was just a lot easier. Now, I know that's a big example, okay? And it's not the example that, might help other people. But in a way, it does. I mean, we can open this conversation up and say, look, when you start with the hard stuff, you're getting it out of the way. And a lot of people will say that I'm going to do this first so I can get it out of the way. And then you just realize that everything after that just kind of sails through. So, if you need to start with the small things first, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. There is no wrong way to start a task. Just do what you know, excuse me. Just do what you know is going to be best for you. All right. That's going to be, productive for you. Take a deep breath when you start to feel overwhelmed. We talked about the ha breathing, right? Breathe in 7, hold 7, out 7, hold 7. And it doesn't have to be like 7 seconds. It could be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. However you want to count. Or you could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. However you count to 7. Okay, but the ha breathing works really, really well. And I have to tell you, I'm the one that mentioned it, but Sammy's the one that's been inspiring me to do it because every so often she'll be like, oh yeah, I do the ha breathing in the morning. And it's like, girl, I haven't even tried it yet. So, but now when I start to feel myself feeling overwhelmed, I will do the ha breathing. So again, have someone sit near you to help you feel more anchored or grounded and not at all like you're on your own. So this is a whole different thing with task paralysis. So, perhaps you're trying to do something, but your anxiety has just fueled, and it has just fueled everything, and you are just absolutely paralyzed now. And you're having that task paralysis. Sammy says she does it every day now. I've got to do it every day. You know what? I need to set an alarm, do ha breathing, But yeah, what do you call it? Just have someone sit with you. Have someone hold space for you. Just like you would hold space for somebody else, have someone hold space for you. because that's how we move through sometimes, especially with people that are very overwhelmed or have a lot of stress or a lot of anxiety. A lot of times that just comes from somewhere they're not sure where it's coming from. Okay, anxiety isn't always just because somebody put a skyscraper of paperwork on your desk. Sometimes anxiety can just come from having to leave your house, having to get out of bed. So if you need to, have someone help you. And if there's not someone physically there, call somebody. And if they answer, that's great. If they don't, see if you have somebody else, or reach out to someone on DMs, or at least just put it out there or journal it, you know? So, so it does get out of you. You don't want to hold it in. That's a big thing. So, again, have someone sit near you to help you feel more anchored and not at all like you're on your own. That's a big one. That is really a big one. So, work in a different place for the novelty. So, well, it depends. Some people can do this, some people can't. But if you like to write and it's a hobby, you know, take your hobby with you somewhere. You know, find a Starbucks, find a cafe, find somewhere that just feels like, you know, you can just let loose and just, you know, have a good time. Sometimes when I can't journal at home, I will go out and journal somewhere else. I'll just, you know, and it's not even for the novelty of it, or maybe it is. You know, I guess it is, because it's somewhere different. It's a different view, right? So you're getting that opportunity to just have a completely different environment to work in. All right. So the next one, move your body a little bit to help you. What? Oh, I really need to learn to write better when I'm writing fast. Move your body a little bit to help your body out of the freeze state. So I know this sounds stupid, but a lot of people will just shake. Okay, a lot of people will just shake themselves. And a lot of people will just say, if, you know, I've done it a few times, right? And people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm shaking off the bad energy. And at that point, they knew me so well, they're like, yeah, that's a Shelly thing. So, you know, apparently I have Shelly things. But yeah, just move your body, whether it's, you know, doing some stretches, shaking it off, or, you know, like Taylor Swift, shake it off, right? Or, you know, going out for a walk or something. Just move your body a little bit. Okay. Sometimes when I get really bored, I just start spinning in my chair. I know. And that helped me a little bit, not a lot, but it helped me a little bit. What can I say? You know, you always come up with new things to do. Do something to increase your dopamine, like listen to a song or eat something beforehand. Yeah, you know, a lot of people like to clean or like to do hobbies to music. I like to write to music, and I think part of that is because it quiets the noise in my head, you know, and I've found that even if I go to a Starbucks, there's enough chatter around that I don't always have to have my earphones on, because there's something else distracting that negative thing in my head, you know, and I'm just able to focus. So I don't know if that's part of my mental health or what. Who knows? But it helps me. So yeah, so increase your dopamine, like listening to a song or eating something before, or moving your body. That can create dopamine. It's just basically just raising your woohoo levels. All right. And last but not least, think of ways to add a reward and accountability to your task. That's not my favorite thing, because a lot of people will use food as a reward, and that's a struggle I have. Now, if that's something that works for you, that's great. This is just hard for me to really kind of speak on, because reward systems in my life have not necessarily worked. And I don't mean like, you know, getting paid to do your chores, because that's just like learning how to work, right? But thinking of ways to add a reward and accountability to your task. Accountability, yeah, you know, hey, you finished, that's great, high five yourself. If maybe you're like, okay, well, when I finish this, I'm going to go across the street and get myself a coffee. And that's great. Okay. But, again, it's just hard for me to speak on this, because I do have such a difficult relationship with food, and most people tend to reward themselves with some kind of treat. But, I think sometimes too, the reward in itself is finishing the task. And, you know, like, when I would be scrapbooking sometimes, when I was still into that, when my mom was alive, I do love it, but I, for some reason, seemed to have lost my passion for it when she died. And I think it was just because it was something we did, but, I'm slowly finding my way back. But for me, the reward was looking at it and going, wow, you know, I almost quit because my idea was so much bigger than I thought it would be. But it looks great. Or like this thing that, older sibling bought me this, cute London thing, and it had like pencils and one big thing that was about 4 feet long, like just 4 feet long, different size of, kind of like a panoramic view of London that I had to color. And it took me about a week and a half to color it. Now you're probably thinking, wow, it took you that long. You know, sometimes perfectionism comes in, and I'm one of these people, like, I have to make the ground look right. What would this look like? And, you know, I mean, but then, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it was. But for me, the reward was looking at it and going, oh, wow. And then I ended up hanging it on my wall because I loved it so much. But I think it was also because, you know, it was something that I didn't quit on. It was something that I made myself do. Not made myself do, but made myself complete, because I didn't want to leave it unfinished. And I think that's where a lot of us have that, is where we leave things unfinished. And, you know, so even the reward could be the completion of whatever it is you're working on. If you want to use food, that's great. It's hard for me to speak on that again, like I said, because I do struggle with that. I don't want people to think, oh yeah, if I do like an hour's worth of exercise, I can have a hamburger. I'm one of these people that if you're craving it, go enjoy it. Okay. And that's not intended to be bad advice. It's because I've learned that when I feed my cravings, they go away. When I ignore my cravings, I end up binging. So, you know, it's different for everybody. It truly is different for everybody. But yeah, you have to do what's best for you. So if you have a reward system or an accountability for a task that you're doing, then absolutely do what works for you. Okay. So, that is task paralysis. I can't remember where I got that from. I'm sure it was somewhere very fascinating, but, yeah, I have no idea where it came from. So I apologize. I can't give credit for that one. I think I just Googled it, you know, like, completing tasks, or, you know, like how to complete, you know, how to not be sidetracked or something like that, and then found this. So, I know, you know, sometimes they turn to the internet for a lot of things that people be like, that's what you look to the internet for? And it's just like, because sometimes my brain just won't go in that direction. So, yeah, so, you know, there we go. Oh, see, now I get it. That's the ha. I just realized why they call it ha breathing. I think that's why they call it ha breathing. Like, So anyways, you're like, you done watching me breathe? Sorry. I apologize for that. It just gets stuck in my head. Like I said, I'm struggling with a headache hangover right now. So my brain is still trying to heal itself from yesterday's, you know, nuclear head trauma in my brain, head pain. So, yeah, so that's task paralysis. Anyways, oh, good morning, older sibling. She didn't say anything, but I just saw her name pop on. So, anyways, yeah, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, Facebook Live. All lives are public. Anybody can watch, under the Aloha Perspective. See, my brain. And you know, you can find me across the board. All right. I still have to upload, Friday's show to like Blue Sky, Threads, and Twitter. So if you're watching this and I haven't done it yet, it's coming, I promise, because that is part 4. That is part 4 of happiness anchors. But tomorrow we're going to do the affirmators. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to do the affirmators. I don't know which one is next, but whichever one is next will be the one that we do tomorrow. All right, so it probably won't be a very long show. But anyways, have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Sammy, have a wonderful time tomorrow. Older sibling, thank you both for coming on, and I will talk to everybody tomorrow. Have a great day.